Ethan Sachs is here with us live at New York Comic Con at Marvel Live. Ethan Sachs, the writer of Old Man Hawkeye and What If Thor, October 24th. Sir, thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and I'm happy to hold one of your two bows.
One of the hyper-realistic bows
Yes.
that I brought for my very in-depth costume.
So let's talk about the future a little bit before we get into Hawkeye. What If Thor? For those at home watching, what is the What If series and what is your idea behind What If Thor?
Well, the What If series is basically what if the Marvel editors decided to bring back the classic series What If? And spoiler, they did. So there are a number of basically one-shot titles with involving some great stories. There's a great X-Men story that came out last Wednesday. The one that I'm working on is What If Thor was raised by frost giants, and then Laufey basically sacked Asgard and took Thor as his ward. And so poor Loki is always the second best. In any alternate universe, there isn't
Wow.
any. So basically, it sort of looks at how much is nature, how much is nurture.
Do you have an investigation board on your wall of everything that could possibly happen with Odin losing?
I would like to say I did, but no. The story kind of fell into place in my head when I got the call from Dan, my editor. So just, would you like to do this story? And it kind of made sense to me that if Thor he would still be driven to be a version of a hero, but for a different set of people. So that I kind of felt like he would eventually have some sort of hammer or some sort and be whacking people with it under any. So the details were what took the time. It wasn't so much trying to figure out how everything would change, I guess.
Yeah, so let's discuss the elephant in the room. You are dressed up.
This could be my naturally long flowing locks.
I almost thought it was your real hair.
Yes.
But you are dressed as a character you've written.
I'm dressed as Old Man Hawkeye, but from yet another alternate dimension where he just lets himself go.
Wait, how many are there?
He just lets himself go, and some poor lifestyle choices, eating habits. So that's like I said, I spared no expense in this costume, $40. and the best part were these Lord of the Rings bows that I painted purple.
The Old Man Hawkeye bows.
Old Man Hawkeye bows now, but the thing was, they frightened security so much that we actually had to cut this elastic string.
No arrows coming off of these guys.
No, I mean, because I really looked like a killer from a post-apocalyptic future. So
now go for it.
Oh no, I was going to say the reason there are two of them is because you had your daughter here.
I did, and she fled.
She fled.
Yeah, she had skating, but yeah, she was dressed as herself.
Yes. Please explain why she was dressed as herself. The story's great.
So yeah, I wrote my daughter into. I have a picture on my phone. I wrote my daughter into Old Man Hawkeye, not a major character, but I hope I'm not spoiling it for anyone who hasn't read, but Old Woman Hawkeye is in it, Kate Bishop, and in that future, she's essentially running an orphanage hidden in the wastelands. And I had this idea for her number two, her lieutenant, would be this 14-year-old, just incredible warrior, kind of a little bit like in Road Warrior, the 10-year-old with the boomerang. So I kind of wanted a character like that, and then as I was writing it, I was thinking, well, my daughter's going to be 14 by the time this comes out, so why not? So Marco Cacchetto, the amazing artist, he, first of all, Mark Basso, the editor, signed off on it, which was incredible, and then I got my daughter to sign a waiver without knowing what it was. Like, she was applying for high schools, and there was a stack of papers. Later, I had to tell her that that's not a way of going through life, but she signed it, and so she ended up in the comic. And I'm going to look down at my phone for a second as we talk, just so that I can find the picture. So I hold it towards one of the cameras.
No, I read a really fun fact about you, that your daughter has actually been dubbed an official superhero by Stan Lee himself.
Wow, really got hardcore into this research. Yeah, I don't know where I hold this up. Look at that's her in the.
So awesome.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, but yeah, so talk about Stan Lee dubbing her.
Yeah, so I mean, before my secret origin story was that I was a journalist for many years, and I worked at the New York Daily News, and I covered the geek beat, so everything from comics to Star Wars and everything in between. And I interviewed Stan Lee, so many times that when my daughter was born in 2004, he sent an email that made like an official proclamation that she was entitled to all the banners of the House of Saxe and she's official superheroine.
So cool.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't have any banners, so it kind of was like a little bit of a watered down victory, but it's still something we literally...
So, Old Man Hawkeye, I want to get into this world for a second.
Yes.
It is brutal. It is a wasteland, like you mentioned. It's an apocalyptic world. What gets you into the headspace of writing for this brutal world?
The character of Hawkeye inspires me a lot. I'm not quite as old as he is, despite the hair, but I do understand the process of feeling like you're getting older and if you have things that you want to do that seize the day sort of mentality. But what I really loved about him is even in the present, he's a character that you really don't know how he makes it to the end of the panel, much less the page, much less the issue, because he's constantly just doing everything by the seat of his pants, and he has no superpowers. He's basically an immature man with a bow and arrow, and that's his whole character. So I like the idea of him surviving in in that world.
Yeah, that's such a great note to leave on. Thank you so much for joining us in
My pleasure.
Citizen Lounge.